Welcome, everybody, to a special WDWNT live presentation. This is something new we're trying tonight. It's called Travel Tips. We're going to answer your questions live in the chat and on questions about travel to Walt Disney World. And so to facilitate that, we have here two of our agents from Small World Big Fun. We have Cindy and Barbara.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
So they're certified travel agents. Cindy's the owner of Small World Big Fun, which is our exclusive travel partner. They're going to be able to answer almost any question you have about traveling to Walt Disney World or cruises or Adventures by Disney or whatever you have. And then we're also going to have, I have Jill here.
Hello, everybody.
She's going to help facilitate the conversation and keep an eye on the chat. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jill to explain to everybody who's out there watching or listening how things are going to work, and then we can get started.
Thanks, Jason. Yes, as Jason explained, we are joined here tonight by Cindy and Barbara from Small World Big Fun, and they are our Disney vacation planning experts. So they are here to answer any questions you might have about traveling to a Disney destination. And if you have those questions, all you need to do is post them in the chat at WDWNtunes.com. So we have two different chat options on there. I'll be keeping an eye on both of them to see your questions, and then I will pass your questions along to Cindy and Barbara, who will be more than happy to answer them for you. So as we kind of get things going here, one thing we definitely want to talk to Cindy and Barbara about is some of the new deals that just dropped from Disney this week. Including the new free dining plan offer. Dining plan is a huge popular option with Disney guests. So if you guys want to tell us a little bit more about what Disney is offering and why it's a great value.
Absolutely. We're happy to do that. So I think everybody's pretty much aware that yesterday, 2 days ago on Tuesday, Disney released two discounts for the fall of 2018. The free dining discount, and then also a room discount. So I want to talk about free dining first. The free dining basically is available from August the 20th, for most nights, August the 20th through September the 29th, November 24th through 27th, and December the 8th through the 23rd. And so if your check-in date falls within those date ranges, you could potentially qualify. Now, I need to kind of go on record as saying availability this year is super limited. There are several different resorts that are blacked out on the discount. Limited availability on the room. So if you're interested in getting a quote for this, we want you to just reach out and give us a call quickly so that we can do that. And we will, Jill, I don't know if we've got the landing page or a link to the landing page up. It's www.smallworldbigfun.com/Disney fans, FANS. So if you go to that link, that landing page, and request a quote, we can get one out to you really, really quickly. But free dining, the way it works is that if you reserve a room at a value or a moderate resort, you get the free quick service dining plan for free. And if you stay at a deluxe resort or a deluxe villa, you get the basic dining plan for free. You can choose to upgrade from the quick service plan to the basic plan by paying the difference. That is not a problem. And so that's pretty much the basics of that quick service dining plan. It does require a 4-night minimum stay and a minimum 4-day park hopper. Can't have a base ticket, got to have at least a park hopper for 4 days on the ticket, 4 nights in the hotel room.
And everyone has to be on the same plan.
Everybody has to be on the same plan. And of course you can't combine it with other offers. So, so that's the basics of the free dining plan. The room only is available for a shorter window. It's available from August the 2nd for check-in August the 2nd through October the 7th. And this is a room discount, so it's available on the room portion of your package. You can add tickets to it. You can add the dining plan to it, but you're only getting the discount on the room. Which discount is the better deal for your family? I think that has to do with where you're going to stay and the makeup of your family. So obviously, if you're a family of 4 and you've got 2 adults and 2 kids, and your kids are over 10, you know, like if you have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old, the free dining plan could potentially save you quite a bit of money on that dining plan. I think that room discount, we're looking at up to, where is that? It's a sliding scale, and you're saving up to 25% depending on which resort you choose to stay at. So, you know, that's our job. Our job is to kind of run the numbers, look and see what's available for your preferred dates of travel, and then kind of do the math to see which is going to be a better fit for your family.
Okay. So just so everybody's clear, you can't have the best of both worlds. You can't have both the dining offer and the room discount offer. You've got to pick one or the other.
No double dipping. Sorry about that, folks.
Wouldn't it be nice?
No, pick one. So, yeah, and so it looks like, you know, you're saving up to 25% at select resorts for most nights, August the 2nd through October the 2nd on that room discount. And it's a sliding scale. So we'll just have to do the math to see what works better for you.
Okay, so it could be very possible, depending on how the size of your family, where you want to stay, when you want to go, one option or the other is going to save you more money.
Exactly. And like I said, that's our job to do the math.
Okay. And so we had a little bit of a conversation about this before we started the show tonight. One of the things that you guys kind of provide as a real value added service is helping people figure out how to take best advantage. If they're getting the dining plan, how to work it out so they're getting the most out of that dining plan. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Right. And, you know, I think the first thing that we want to talk about, I think it's important to understand what the dining plan is. I think there might be some folks, especially if you've never used it before, what does it involve? And there are 3 different dining plans. You've got the quick service plan. That's what's available on the free dining discount at the value resorts and at the moderate resorts. The quick service plan is going to give each person in your family,
3 and up.
age 3 and up. Thank you, Barbara. Ages 3 and up. 2 quick service meals per person per night, 2 snacks per person per night, and a refillable drink mug. The refillable drink mug is good in the food court, or, you know, there are several places throughout the resorts where you can refill that. You get refills only at the resort. Okay.
Don't take it to the park.
Can't take that thing to the parks and get free refills there. Also, I think it's kind of a pain in the behind.
People do bring them, but if you're a mom, you have 3 kids.
It's
you're
just
now carrying 5 cups.
One more thing to drag around. Exactly. So that's the quick service meal. Here, look at that. The basic dining plan is the one that you get free at the deluxe resorts and the deluxe villas. That has 1 quick service meal, 1 table service meal per person per night, and 2 snacks per person per night. Again, you get the refillable drink mug. The deluxe dining plan, it's a whole lot of food, y'all. It's 3 meals in any combination of quick service and table service. You still get the 2 snacks and you still get the refillable drink mug. And like Jill said, you know, our job is to kind of figure out which one fits your family best and how best to take advantage of those credits. I do want to define what a meal is, what a quick service meal is, what a table service meal is, what a snack is, because there have been some changes on what's included, especially for the 2018 dining packages. Quick service meal, no waiter. You walk, no reservation, no waiter. You walk up to the counter, you order. A quick service meal is going to include an entree and a beverage. Now, what kind of beverage? A non-alcoholic beverage, a fountain drink, a specialty drink, or this year for 2018, that can also include a mixed drink, wine, or beer. That's new.
Oh, that's new, and that's kind of an improved value there.
Well, if you like to have a beverage with your dinner, that's one of the ways that this you can, you know, really get some you know, good value for your dining. That's something that you enjoy, you know, when you eat. You don't have to use it, you know. Not drinking is still doesn't make it a worse value, because you can take advantage of those specialty beverages like the milkshakes and the floats and
there's like signature milkshakes at certain restaurants. Yeah,
those kind of. the specialty drinks, things like that. But that's what a quick service meal is. And I think
you didn't mention dessert, and I know a dessert was always a part of the dining plan in the past at the quick service.
Yeah, great question. What they did was they took the dessert off the entree because I think a lot of people weren't using it. And what they did was they gave you 2 snack credits instead of just 1. So I like this better. I think, you know, I was doing a little bit of research today, and I found a list that there are well over 2,500 snack options on menus across all 4 Disney theme parks.
Oh.
And just a huge number of options. And Disney, when they made this change, Disney expanded the definition of a snack. It used to be, I think, anything less than $5. Now, a snack is defined as anything that is a single serving. So,
wow.
Yeah, I know. So a snack could be a specialty coffee from Starbucks. It could be, oh gosh, I did a sort, the strawberry funnel cake with strawberry topping and soft serve vanilla at Sleepy Hollow.
Wow.
That thing costs $8.49. I mean, so, you know, you can really, what are some of the other?
Well, I also noticed, because I was down at Flower and Garden on Friday, and I noticed that everything at the booths now, even the stuff that's like $7 is a snack credit.
A snack. And so you can really get some Food and Wine, Flower and Garden. You can really get some great value on those snacks because it's just any single serving. Somebody pointed out to me today, a French onion soup at Be Our Guest. That's a snack.
Ooh.
So, I know.
You have to wait in line to get it.
Yes, you have to have a reservation to go get it. So, you know, snacks, there's a lot of versatility and a lot of different ways that you can use those. So a table service meal, those are the ones that we encourage people to make reservations for. Those are sit-down restaurants.
The character meals.
The character meals, the buffets, those types of restaurants. That includes an entree, a dessert at lunch or dinner only, not at breakfast. So if you use your table service meal at breakfast and you're ordering from the menu a la carte, you're not going to get a dessert with that. So entree, dessert at lunch or dinner, and again, the beverage, whether it's, you know, fountain drink or a glass of wine or one of the specialty beverages that you have.
So does that include like mimosas?
It includes, the definition reads, I'm going to read this because I have a lot of questions about this. So it says a non-alcoholic beverage. Where did that go?
Breakfast?
For breakfast, it is, hang on just a minute. Oh, Barbara, I'm sorry. I had it pulled up. Hang on. Beverages. Guests under 21 years of age can choose one non-alcoholic beverage, including specialty beverages where offered. Guests 21 and older can choose either one non-alcoholic beverage, including specialty beverages where offered, or one single serving of a mixed cocktail, beer or wine, where offered with their meal. And this includes artisanal milkshakes, fresh smoothies, premium hot chocolate, soda, coffee, tea, beer or cider, wine or sangria, mixed drinks, and specialty cocktails. So I would say that included.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Mimosa, then you can order it.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Now, you know, I'm a big fan of, you know, you got to ask the question. If you have any questions about this, you want to ask your server what's included. One of the questions I will point out, we've had this question a lot. Okay, so if my child doesn't want their specialty beverage, does that mean that I can get 2 glasses of wine? No, it does not mean that.
Right.
So, you know, you can obviously order another one and pay for it, but the child's dining plan doesn't cover, if that child is
under 21, they're not going to get.
They're not going to get it.
Beverage, and now, you can't get it for them.
Ask. Maybe they'll say yes. You know, you don't know. Ask sweetly. But ask.
Disney is very good about giving you a little bit of extra just for asking nicely.
Ask nicely. Yep. You just don't know. They might sprinkle a little pixie dust on you there. So, worth asking the question. So that's a little bit about what those table service meals include.
And then deluxe. You didn't explain deluxe.
The deluxe plan is 3 meals any way you want to slice it. So, you know, it's the same quick service meals or table service meals. You just get 3. So if you wanted to sit down, if you got the deluxe dining plan, you could have 3 sit-down meals a day.
That's a lot of food.
Boy, that's a
When I do deluxe dining for my clients, though, it's if they are foodies and they like signature restaurants where it takes 2 table credits. That's where the deluxe dining can be of value to them.
Right. So you basically would get like, you'd get a sit-down breakfast and then you'd get a signature dinner every day. That's not 3 full meals. It's really 2 full meals.
Right. But remember those signature restaurants, there are most Disney restaurants, it's a 1-for-1 exchange on those table service meals. There's a handful of the nicer restaurants like Gico, Citricos, Le Cellier. Be our guest at dinner now.
California Grill, my favorite.
Grill, Cinderella's Royal Table. You know, there's a handful. Artist Point, Yachtsman Steakhouse. That require the use of 2 table service meals if you want to use your dining plan there. Hoop-de-doo, the luau, those require 2. You can also use 2 table service meals to cover private in-room dining, like if you wanted to order room service.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing that I read today was pizza delivery at the resorts that offer pizza delivery. That counts as 2 table service meals, but it's for 2 people. So if you do the pizza delivery, you get 1 pizza, you get 2 drinks, and 2 desserts. So I thought that was a neat idea, something to kind of remember.
So that's the equivalent. You're basically getting a pizza and 2 drinks for the same price as 2 meals at Le Cellier.
One meal at Le Cellier.
One meal at Le Cellier. That's right. Okay.
Because, you know, the pizza delivery, they're requiring you to spend 2 credits, but you're feeding 2 people.
Right. So it's not, it's probably not a great value, but it's an option.
It's an option.
It's not a terrible value either.
Not a terrible value.
It's not as bad a value as the pizza at Pizza Planet in Disneyland. Which is $40 for 1 pizza.
No, it's like $70 for 1 pizza and 4 drinks now.
Yes, the meal plan at Alien Pizza Planet, you get 1 pizza, I think salad, dessert, and 4 drinks, and it's $70. So that's not a good value.
I will say this. Dining at Disneyland, dining at Disney World.
2 different things.
Same thing, okay?
Has Disneyland ever offered a meal plan like Disney World does?
Vouchers.
They have vouchers, but it is not a meal plan. It's a voucher. And
okay.
Basically just prepaying for your meal.
Okay. So back to Disney World. Are there any restaurants in Disney World that you cannot use the dining plan for? And I'm thinking especially like Disney Springs. I know that can be a weird kind of hybrid area.
Most of them are included. The only one that really pops into my mind that is not included is that McDonald's. That's, you know,
okay.
The All-Stars, yeah.
That one doesn't count.
But even things at the Swan and Dolphin, like Blue Zoo and everything, they're included, right?
Included, yes.
Yeah. And a lot of there's a list, and we'll put a link up to this on our website for y'all in terms of participating locations. And here's one thing I'm going to say. If you get a hold of a 2018 Disney Dining Plan participating locations list, it's a PDF file, and you see a restaurant that is not on there, please don't flip out. Sometimes they jump the gun a little bit on these lists, and they don't get them updated as quickly as possible, as quickly as you think that they need to, because they're waiting on people to sign a contract or something like that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, in the almost 20 years that I've been doing this, I don't know that there's ever been,
restaurant not included. Me either.
But don't freak out just because you don't see that on this list. Call us.
Call us.
And we'll let you know what's going on with that. But yeah. So, but that McDonald's, that's the only one that I think people ever get really confused about because it's on property.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Does that include, I know there's like a restaurant over at the Four Seasons called Ravello or something like that.
Now, that one I don't think is included.
No. Oh, it's not. Okay.
Now, here's a plug for Ravello and for Kappa, both of them. Oh my God, those are fabulous. If you ever have an opportunity to go over there, I highly recommend them. They're expensive, but they're fabulous. So yeah, I'm not seeing that on this. And I don't know that this is a complete list anyway. So who knows when this was updated last. Okay.
So what about people who may already have a trip booked during the times that these deals are now available? Are they able to add them to an existing trip?
Are you talking about the discounts?
Yes.
Yes, possibly. So what I'd like for them to do, we do that all the time. If you've got a reservation and Disney releases a discount, that's one of the commitments that we make to our guests, is that we want to make sure that you have the best price available for your discount. Can we guarantee it? Absolutely not. Because remember what I said at the very beginning? The availability is very, very limited. And so what's best, the best course of action is to pick up the phone and call us, or go to that landing page that I mentioned, and just shoot us an email and say, hey, I've got this reservation, and let us see if we can't help you with that. There are things that we can do. There are things that we may not be able to do, but we can certainly point you in the right direction. And so, like we said, certain resorts, the earlier you take that action and look into that, the better inventory, the better choices you're going to have.
Disney has made the availability smaller. They've cut out a couple of resorts this year.
Like the Wilderness Lodge is not Polynesian Wilderness Lodge, and Contemporary Bay Lake Tower. So there are quite a few resorts that are not included on the free dining.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's definitely, you may be booked at a resort where it's not an option for you anyway.
Not even an option.
We talk about maybe moving you at that point.
Is that a possibility? Are you interested? And we find a lot of guests who really kind of say, I like where I'm staying, because the choice of Disney resort is such a personal choice to a lot of people. That's one of the first things that you have to think about when you're planning your Disney vacation, is where you're going to stay. And that really kind of sets the tone for the whole vacation. So, a lot of times by the time somebody's made that choice, they may or may not want to, make that change just to save some money.
So I definitely think, yes, if availability is limited, people should definitely be picking up the phone and calling soon. But it's also getting to be summer, which is an incredibly busy time for Disney. Do you guys have any kind of recommendations or tips for people that are thinking about a summer trip in terms of kind of helping deal with the fact that it's a pretty crowded time in the parks, and they may not always have availability for the resorts they want, the restaurants they want, that kind of thing?
You'd really be surprised. Last year, the summer months were not the busiest times for Disney World, which was kind of a surprise to all of us. Now, this summer, June 30th, Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios is opening. So yes, there will be a bump up there, but there still is a promotion. There's a couple of promotions, a room discount and kids eat free. If your kids are 9 and under, we can look at that for you. And there's still availability because we're still booking those every day.
Yeah. And I think that, last year Pandora opened, and the summer was, there were certainly some times that the summer it was certainly busier. Toy Story Land, like Barbara said, who knows, that's going to certainly drive some traffic. But most often, in the absence of that free dining discount, we a lot of times can get some really good last minute dining reservations. Availability at the resorts is better than you think. And so I would say, don't be afraid to book a summer trip.
What do we always say to clients? They ask, is it going to be hot?
Yes. But guess what? It's hot at home. I'd rather be hot at Disney than hot at home.
So it's hot at Disney a lot of the year. I remember the first time I was there at Halloween, and it was 98 degrees. And I thought, but it's the end of October. So yeah, you've definitely got to plan for it being hot no matter what.
Yeah.
98 Degrees was the band at the Eat to the Beat concert.
They just added that to Eat to the Beat.
That's right. So, here's a question, and you mentioned this about getting dining reservations. How difficult is it? Like, is it really hard to get dining reservations when like everybody has free dining? If there's some restaurant that you really want to eat at, wouldn't it be better to go not during the free dining period just because it's going to be that much easier to get reservations?
There's pros and cons. And if there's a dining reservation that is really, really important to you, the best advice that I can give to you is try to plan more than 180 days in advance, because 180 days in advance is when that dining reservation window opens. Mm-hmm. And if you're working with us before 180 days, we're going to be on there working to get you those dining reservations. And if it's inside of 180 days, things like Be Our Guest for Dinner, Cinderella's Royal Table, Chef Mickey's, some of those, can be a little bit of a challenge. Now, there's a way to do it, and there's a way to do it. And the more you look, the more you search for it, the better your chances are. You may have to work a little bit harder to get it, but a lot of times, there are things that you can do, especially remembering that people have to cancel dining reservations at least 24 hours in advance, or they're going to get hit with that penalty of $10 a person. So, sometimes we see some movement there towards the end. But really the best thing that you can do for yourself is to try to book those dining reservations right at that 180-day mark from when you want to dine there. One of the things that I tell people all the time that I think people forget because they get so laser focused on their own vacation is that, remember, even if your travel agent or you are up at when that dining window opens for you right at 180 days at 7 a.m. on the phones, 6 a.m. Eastern online, you're never starting from a clean slate. The people who check in the day before you and the day before that and the day before that have overlapped your vacation. So if you have a short vacation, 4 nights or less, your entire vacation has most likely been overlapped by the people who are checking in 3 or 4 days before you.
Oh, okay.
The whole week. It can be very difficult to get those harder to get reservations.
Right. So you get 180 days plus 10. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So if you check in
resort guest.
As a Disney resort guest, that's right. Non-Disney resort guests, they only get 180 days from the date of the reservation.
And so, we get that a lot. People, why is it not there? I called. Right. Yeah.
And another thing is sometimes restaurants aren't loaded into the system, and people get. Sometimes Disney is slow, or for whatever reason don't load all the times for Cinderella's Royal Table just yet.
Or there's nothing available at Tony's Town Square. Oh well, they just didn't hit the button yet. So try again tomorrow. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. So.
And maybe you should pick another restaurant than Tony's Town Square.
Yeah. I just use that as an example.
I know. I'm just. It's one of Tom's favorite jokes is that he is not a fan of Tony's Town Square.
Well, there are a lot of choices. So
there are, and they just keep building more and more restaurants and they keep improving the quality. I mean, we've been talking about, with the Animal Kingdom anniversary last weekend, we've been talking a lot about the restaurants in Animal Kingdom and just how good Tiffin's is.
Yeah.
And how much impact on the park and the resort that adding some of those really good dining options to Animal Kingdom has made.
That was one of the things that somebody asked me the other day, if I do this dining plan, how do I get the most bang for my buck?
Mm-hmm.
And, because the basic dining plan costs $75 per adult per night, $25 per child per night. How do you get the best bang for your buck? Order the most expensive thing on the menu. The character meals are all buffets. It's, that costs what it costs no matter what you order. So you're really going to get a good value if you're doing a lot of character meals that are buffets, and that, those things are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But also, some of the restaurants that
if you like steak,
you're going to be happy with the dining plan.
Okay.
So, and somebody was talking about Ale and Compass, the new restaurant over there at the Yacht Club. I think they have like a they don't call it a surf and turf, but it's something similar to that. It's like a more than $45, $50 entree.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you know, it's.
And that's not 2 credits. That's only 1 credit, right? That's not a signature.
Credit, right.
Wow.
So some of the nicer 1 credit restaurants like the Wave, the Chef de France in France, Kona Cafe. I mean,
Skipper Canteen.
Yeah. Any place that has, you know, you can really, you know, if you like to, you know, order the most expensive thing on the menu, you can really get a good value from it for sure.
The other thing I think as a tip for getting the most value out of the dining plan is don't ever use it for breakfast.
It's less of a good deal for breakfast. I'm not a big fan itinerary planning wise. I'm not typically a huge fan of sitting down and eating a giant breakfast first thing in the morning when that's when the lines are shortest, y'all. Let's just call it what it is. It can be nice if you're doing it maybe like on the day you're leaving to go home and you don't really have, if you've got an extra one left. But here's another point that I want to make. One of the things that we really do for our clients, especially if they have questions about, is the dining plan a good value for me? Well, let's plot out the itinerary. Let's make the dining reservations. Let's get them the way you think you want them. And then we can evaluate whether or not we can look and say, okay, this is about how much you would spend if you ordered meals from these restaurants. This is what you're going to spend on the dining plan, and kind of see if it makes sense for you. We do that all the time, all the time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I just want to make sure everybody out there listening knows that Small World Big Fun is a no-fee agency. So you're not paying extra for Cindy and Barbara and the rest of their agents to do all of this work for you. They're going in and looking at all these things and plotting out your itinerary for you, which is why we're so happy to have them as a sponsor, because it's such a great added value that they give to their customers. To be able to plot those things out and get them those dining reservations and help them maximize that dining plan.
And, you know, I think we also kind of, you know, I think people, I say this all the time, there's no one experience at Disney that is going to make or break your entire vacation. And if you have some ideas, if you're trying to go at a busier time, or if you just really didn't have the time to plan more than 6 months out, let us kind of help give you some suggestions for some other things that maybe you've never tried before. You know, I mean,
I was thinking if we can't get you into Cinderella's Royal Table, why not go to Tales with Belle, Enchanted Tales with Belle, or we'll try to get you a fast pass to Meet the Princesses. There's lots of other avenues. And like she said, if you can't get into one particular restaurant, it's not going to ruin your vacation. People get hung up on that.
We like to say that a lot. So, you know, we can help think outside the box if we need to.
So we do have a question in the chat. It's totally unrelated to dining. But someone wants to know what if they rope drop Flight of Passage during extra magic hours in June of this year. How long do you think the wait is going to be?
It depends on when you get to the park. Okay.
So they're going for extra magic hours.
Okay. Yeah, but it still depends on when you get to the park, because the rope drop at extra magic. Okay, so if extra magic hour,
the park earlier.
There's basically a line for rope drop.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, I don't commute to work. It's about 14 steps across my garage. But you know how when you commute along, you know, to work, there's that window of time where if you miss that window, there's either going to be nobody on the road or everybody on the road.
That was my day today, in fact.
Yes. It's
I missed those windows coming and going.
The same thing. And so, you know, if you don't have a fast pass for Flight of Passage and you want to rope drop it, even on an extra magic hour, the earlier you get there, the better you're going to be. Typically, they do start kind of for crowd control. They start kind of letting people in. You know,
and there's a rope,
you know,
at Pandora. They let you in so far.
Kind of to a certain place, and then right to the entrance of Pandora is typically so that they've got all that space behind you through the Oasis to kind of help with that crowd control. But if the park officially opens at 8 a.m., I would be standing at the front of the park before 6:45 a.m. Okay, I'm not.
So you're waiting in line. It's a matter of, are you waiting in line at the rope, or are you waiting in line in the queue?
Well, again, it depends on when you get there, because it's that kind of that magic window. Well, I got there at 6:30. I mean, at 7:30. Yeah, but
there's also an element
about 6:45.
Yeah,
7:40 is about when they start letting people in. So if you really, I mean, you're gonna wait.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to wait somewhere for some time. Do you want to do that waiting in line before the park opens so that you can get in and ride that spectacular ride with a 15, where you're walking through the queue, and then you've got the rest of the park open with nobody there?
Because everybody else is in line behind you for Flight of Passage.
Yep. You ride the safari. I mean,
yes, which is fantastic at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So
we actually did that. We did that on Saturday, this past Saturday. The park opened at 8 o'clock. It wasn't even extra magic hours. They just opened at 8 o'clock. We did. Everybody went to Pandora. We went to the safari, and we rode the safari twice before 8:30. And it was the most amazing safari. Like, lions were up and running around and everything. It was great.
That's what we did when we were there for spring break, because we had our fast pass. So, but this is one of those things, folks, that if you want, you're gonna wait. I prefer to do my waiting before the park opens, so that when the park opens, I've just got that much time to do the other fun things that I want to do.
And it's not as hot.
That's very true. Yep.
It'll be real interesting to see what happens after Toy Story Land opens.
I think Toy Story is going to drive some of that traffic over to them.
I think it is. Yeah. I think how much and how long that lasts, I'm not sure. Yeah. But certainly, I mean, it opens June 30th, so certainly for the first couple weeks in July, I think you'll see a big impact.
Yeah.
So Pandora has kept those 3-hour-long waits for Flight of Passage for the better part of an entire year now. I don't know that Toy Story Land is going to be able to do that, but
not for a year.
Yeah.
But then by the time that's over, it's Star Wars Land, and then that's going to blow everything out of the water.
I can't even talk about that yet. It just
Oh, because I wanted to ask a question.
Ask.
What?
Well, she's having
how do you get into the Star Wars hotel? How can people? Because I feel like if I called it's the day they opened reservations, I would have like a 5-year wait until I could get in.
Okay, so first of all, they haven't even
built it yet.
Ways to go there, and that's one of the things, honestly, that keeps me up at night. I mean, we're starting a list. If this is something you think you want to do, call me. We'll put you on the list.
Okay. No, that's great to know, because
start hearing things, we'll let you know. And
we have heard that most likely there'll be limited stays that you can stay there.
That's kind of some of the chatter that we've heard, is that it's going to be an experience. And this is all just conjecture at this point.
Yeah,
really. That it's going to be one of those things where you check in and you stay and you don't really use it as home base. I mean, you're not like you're staying at the Grand Floridian where you
stay there all week.
You go in and you immerse yourself in that experience for however long you're there. And so it would not surprise me at all to see them limit that to, just a few nights stay. That
2 or 3 nights.
Maybe.
I think we had heard it was going to be 2 nights. Like,
I've heard that too.
That's basically everybody gets 2 nights there, and
there'll be a lot of split stays that we'll be planning for then.
Yeah.
Yes, because then they'll stay either before or after at another resort, or even 2 nights at Grand Flo, then Star Wars Hotel. I guess it's a matter of whenever you can get the reservation, you're going to take it.
You better. Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be. Oh Lord. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stress you out with that one.
No vacations for us.
For travel agents.
Right. But there's so many neat things coming down the pike at Disney. It's so exciting. It's exciting.
It's really remarkable the amount of development they are doing right now in every park, in so many aspects: hotels, restaurants, attractions, everything. It's
new cruise ships. I mean,
I was just gonna say, let's change gears a little bit and talk about the new cruise ships, because I want to hear what you guys know, like dates and things like that. What's going on with the new ships?
Yeah, well,
they've kept it under wraps really well.
I don't know that we have.
I mean, people are putting.
What have they said? 20, 21, and 22.
Yes, 3 ships. And so, and now they're talking about what are we going to name the ship. So we all talk about what are they going to name the ship.
Yeah,
we should have a contest.
I mean, you can book cruises. Like you can book cruises 2 years in advance, right?
Almost. Yeah. Right now we're booking through mid-19.
September 2019 currently.
Yeah.
Okay. So like a year and a half in advance. So that means that, you know, if they're saying 2020, we could potentially be booking those new ships. Well, the first of the new ships by the end of this year.
That maybe so.
But they have really now Disney has been really silent on that. I know they're building them.
Yeah.
But as someone who's never been on a Disney cruise, is there any difference? I know. Not Jason. Jason's been on a ton. Someday when you have a really good deal, I'm going to take you up on it.
Yes.
What would the appeal be of being like, you know, in the first month or two of bookings on a brand new ship?
Things break.
I mean, I'm sure if you've been on other Disney cruises and you've seen other ships, you want to see the new ships. But if you've never been on one before, does it really matter?
You know, that's a really interesting question. And I think that, you know, having cruised on those Disney on the Disney ships, there is a difference between the Disney cruise ships and other cruise lines. And you know, there's lots of room for lots of really great trips out there. But I'll tell you, you know, as a Disney fan, there is absolutely nothing like those Disney cruise ships because it is to me, it's a smaller, more intimate environment. You still have you still got the characters. You've got just the amazing quality of the Disney programming, all of the magical touches. The entertainment, the kids areas are not to be believed. I mean, and I tell people this all the time, and I've experienced it and I firmly believe it. As a mom, when you plan a vacation, the parks are magical and wonderful, but you don't really get to unplug from that. When you get on those Disney cruise ships, as a parent, your kids are going to take one look at the Oceaneers Club and go, "See ya later."
I've told friends of mine. I said, if your kids, if your kids are under 8. The cruises are a better vacation than the parks because kids under 8 don't have the stamina to stay in the parks very long.
Well, yeah.
So you know the cruises are it's so much. Well, I think it's better. I think it's more relaxing. It's a definite more relaxing vacation than the parks.
It's a different kind of vacation, and as a parent, you have an opportunity to unplug. Your kids are in the Oceaneer Club having a fantastic time. And if you want to go get yourself a fruity beverage with a little umbrella in it, lay up on the adult deck.
The adult pool where there's no children.
Oh, the rainforest. Oh, y'all, it's perfectly quiet. And there are these heated stone benches. It's just heaven. But anyway, I'm telling you, you can be together. You can everybody can kind of unplug. It really is it is one of the perfect family vacation, I think.
And for people without kids, I've actually had friends of mine who don't have kids who are huge Disney cruise fans tell me you'll actually see, if you don't want to see kids on your vacation,
you don't have to.
You don't have to. You'll see a heck of a lot less on a Disney cruise than you will in the parks. And you'll also see a lot less of them on a Disney cruise than you will on any other cruise.
Well, exactly. and Disney was, you know, these people who design these ships are really intelligent. If you pull out the plans and you look at it, you know, the kids areas of that ship are kind of in the middle and the adult areas of the ship are kind of on the ends. And there's a way that you can kind of move between those without having to kind of cross through that so much. And you really can, you know, they're even thoughtful about when they do their dining rotations, seating, you know, families with younger kids typically are at this restaurant on this night, and families with, you know, the older kids, and the families, you know, more of the older, no kids, older adults. They really do. They know how to do this to kind of keep everybody happy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, for people who are interested in one of these fantastic, and believe me, if I was ever going to take a cruise, I haven't taken a cruise, much less a Disney. Yeah, when I take a cruise, it will definitely be a Disney cruise for sure. So for people who are thinking about that, do you guys have any current offers right now, or things that you're looking at or recommending around planning a Disney cruise vacation?
What we do recommend is if you're thinking of taking a cruise, the sooner you book out, the less money it's going to cost.
Disney Cruise Line uses something called dynamic pricing. And so supply and demand, y'all, as the ship fills up, the price goes up. And so the earlier you book, the lower that price is going to be. The more full the ship gets, the price is going up. So, you know, if there are occasionally they will do some military discounts. They will do some Florida resident discounts. Those usually don't roll in until really kind of last minute. And by last minute, I mean inside of 3 months. So you have to be able to, you know, to go when you can. But
sometimes
if
they do a discount on the deposit. I mean,
yeah,
they just
like
add the other deposit.
Instead of a 20% deposit, you can pay half of that. You still have to pay it. You're not getting real discount on that. Every once in a while, they'll do something, but it's very rare because those ships will fill up. Now, if you want to save money, cruise when everybody's in school. I mean, because there's a huge price difference between a 4-night cruise in September and a 4-night cruise in the middle of July. So,
how do you? So if it's based on demand, how do you think the new ships are going to affect pricing? Obviously, I would think the demand for those will be much higher initially. So do you think that will create some deals on the older ships?
Well, possibly. We'll have to see.
But they're very rarely not full.
Yeah, because they each kind of have their own specialties. So, and we'll have to see how this changes and evolves after they release those ships, because Wonder spends the summer in Alaska. And then they do the repositioning cruises through the Panama Canal. And the Magic spends the summer in Europe, you know. So the Mediterranean, and then they throw in a couple of Northern European ones. That may change, you know, they may send another ship over there. And then the Dream and the Fantasy kind of split, you know. Dream does the Bahamas, 3 and 4 night cruises in the Bahamas. The Fantasy does the 7-night cruises in the Caribbean. So I think they're just going to be able to offer more, and, you know, more variety, you know, more different ports of call.
It's not like they're going to have twice as many departures from Florida. They're just going to spread the ships around more. So, you know, if you're going to Florida to board the cruise, there's still only going to be so many days of cruises out of Florida. It's not going to be more necessarily than it is right now.
Possibly. And they'll be able to do some things like, you know, the cruises with 2 stops at Castaway Cay sell out really quickly because, gosh, Castaway Cay. Just
your own private island.
Take me there and drop me off. I'll be happy.
Leave me there the whole time, right?
There. So, you know, I think that's just going to be, you know, more of a good thing.
Okay. One other thing I want to talk about before we run out of time for our show tonight is, so as many of our listeners know, our fearless leader and WDWNT founder, Tom Corliss, just came back from quite a trip to Tokyo Disney Resort. And I'm pretty sure he's probably whet a lot of people's appetites for, you know, Tokyo Disney is a bucket list thing for a lot of people. So just, you know, kind of general things for people who are like, you know what, I'd really love to do that. What do I even need to think about in terms of cost? It's a really long plane trip. What kind of things would you tell people just sort of upfront to start thinking about if they're really interested in doing a Tokyo trip?
You know, I think that the first thing that you have to kind of think about is that you realize this is, you know, the more time you have, this is not a 5-night trip, y'all. I mean, you know, you're going to want to make sure that you've got the time to invest getting there, the time change, and really being able to have enough time to absorb. You know, if you're going halfway across the world, the parks are magnificent, but, you know, gosh, I mean, there's so many other things there that you want to be able to do. There's, you know, Tokyo. I mean, come on. So that's really, to me, the first thing that you want to think about is making sure that you've got the time to spend doing it.
Okay. In terms of those other things outside of Tokyo Disney itself, you know, going into Tokyo, seeing things, is that something that you guys can help facilitate for people that come to you?
We sure can.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times people don't even know what else is out there. So just, having those options and knowing, oh, my agent can just book that excursion for me to go into the city or help me figure out how to make that happen.
Right. And that's kind of one of the things that I think really a value that a travel agent brings to the table, is, what can this look like? If you've never been, maybe you don't know the questions to ask. Mm-hmm. So it is, I think one of the things that's most important, I keep going back to this, you need to know your dates. You need to know how much time you've got to spend on it, and some kind of idea of budget. If you really don't know what some people, a lot of times it's interesting. People have no idea what it could even cost.
Sure.
So it's helpful to open up that conversation, call us, let us help you start that conversation to at least give you an idea of, kind of the big picture and get a much more realistic picture of what that may cost, rather than, there's so much information on the internet, and
not all true.
Sometimes that's my big thing is, talk to somebody who knows what they're doing, rather than kind of think but you don't really. I don't like ugly surprises. Okay. Right. My job, we don't want any ugly surprises. So maybe it's something that you have to kind of save up for a couple of years, but
well, we don't for failure. I mean, not to enjoy your trip.
Right.
And I think there's probably also people out there who have, an almost overinflated idea of what the cost of that might be. And they just don't even think about it because they think, oh, I'll never be able to afford that. Right. So I'm not even going to think about it. And maybe there's a way that they could.
Yeah, they're the same people that spend like $3,000 for a house for a week at the Jersey Shore. And I'm like,
right,
you could spend that $3,000 many better ways than the Jersey Shore.
And this is just kind of my little thing. I love Disney, and it is a place that to me is relaxing. Just like I have so many friends who go to the beach every summer. We go to Disney every year for our family trip. But the world is a huge place. And I think that in today's society, the more you expose yourself to other cultures, the more you expose your children to other cultures, where it's all going to make us better citizens of the world. So, let's talk, start small, get on a cruise ship, go to the Bahamas, and then, maybe we branch out a little bit and do a 7-night cruise that feels a little bit easier, with some ports of call in Mexico, or even, Alaska and Canada and the Caribbean, and then maybe kind of expand into some things like Adventures by Disney or some of these parks in Tokyo and Shanghai across the world. I mean, one of the things that I love so much about Disney is that they really, when you travel with Disney, you know what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this reputation. They know how to do this. And
you don't have to worry about those unexpected things happening, because unexpected things might happen, but you don't need to worry about them because Disney is there to take care of it for you.
I've got so many stories. So many stories.
And I know when we talked on the charity show back in November, you shared some of those, and it was, but knowing that Disney is going to be there to figure out a way to fix it, make it right, help you deal with the problem.
Yeah. So,
and that's part of why having you guys around is great too, because you're there to help kind of point people in some directions they might not have thought about, kind of building that progression of, you don't want to necessarily start, jump off the cliff and go to Tokyo for 2 weeks. Maybe you want to take a cruise first or try the Adventures by Disney.
Yeah, we will help you.
Don't rule that out. Okay.
Oh, believe me. That will be on my list one day too.
Okay. That's fun.
Okay. So we're getting close to our time, but is there anything else you ladies have in terms of tips, deals, things that you want to make sure our audience knows that you've got available?
Couple things I would say. We've talked a little bit about the free dining, the fall discounts. There are discounts available for summer travel. And if you want to be one of the first ones to get in and to see Toy Story Land when it opens on June 30th, now is a good time to start planning that.
Right.
Because it's, by all accounts, it just looks like it's going to be spectacular. So, so I would say definitely, don't wait. Let's squeeze in a last minute trip before you go back to school. And if you do want to take advantage of some of the free dining, please don't wait on that either. It's available to book through July 7th, but you're going to have a lot more options to choose from the earlier you book. And remember, we can fix it so that that deposit is fully refundable to you. So I'd rather see somebody kind of say, look, yeah, let's talk about this, and go ahead and get something locked in, and know that if something happens or plans change, you've not signed your life away. So, kind of keep that in mind.
That is a good idea. And that made a good point, that it's a $200 deposit to book a trip to Disney World, but it's fully refundable up to 30 days before your trip date. And we specialize in planning trips that work for our guests' families. There's so much information out there on the internet. Everybody, I say this all the time, I sound like a broken record. The minute you tell somebody you're going to Disney World, especially if you've never been, it's like people come out of the woodwork. They think, it's like being pregnant with your first child. Oh my God.
I'm one of those people that come out of the woodwork. Yeah. I know how it is. I do it to people all the time.
People start getting it scares them, oh my God, I'm going to screw this up. No, you're not. There's so many different ways to do that. So let us help cut through all that noise, make sure you're getting the best price available, that you're not paying for something that you don't need, but you're not missing out on something that you do.
And we are up to date. What's current, not what happened, not when your aunt went 5 years ago. Things change.
Yeah. Lots changed. So that's a good point. So anyway.
Okay. Well, I want to thank Cindy and Barbara for joining us tonight. For everybody out there, you can reach Cindy and Barbara and all the team at Small World Big Fun through their website, which is smallworldbigfun.com/DisneyFans. That's Disney fans with an S. You can fill out a quote. You can reach out to them. You can ask them questions. And even if you're just not even sure where you want to start, they're the best people to point you in the right direction and help you plan the best trip for your family. And just to reiterate, they're a no-fee agency, so you're not paying any extra to have them help you out. And they can handle all that with the new room discounts, the summer discounts, the dining plan. They'll help you figure out what works for you and get the most bang for your buck. They'll tell you all the restaurants to go to get those surf and turf meals on one dining credit.
Yeah. There you go. Okay.
And when to book your fast pass and how to book your fast passes for Flight of Passage.
Talk about that, but yeah, we help with that too. So
we'll save that for our next show. Is how the fast pass secrets and how you guys have can help people get the fast passes they want.
You have to call me.
Call Cindy to get that Flight of Passage fast pass.
Secrets, yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, y'all. We really enjoyed it. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you guys. And just so everybody out there knows, this will be available as part of one of our upcoming podcasts. So you'll also be able to get the audio stream downloadable as a podcast in the very near future. So people who may want to go back and revisit some of these details around dining plan options and things can go back and do that on the podcast.
Wonderful.
And we'll keep you all posted on when we're scheduling our next travel tips discussion.
Great. Thanks, y'all. Everybody have a good evening.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you, guys.